Hi guys, and welcome back to the Discord bot tutorial series. In this episode of the series, we are going to be creating a basic mute command, which will allow anyone with the manage messages permission to mute someone, and that will stop them from speaking in the channel. And also, we're going to set it so it can stop people speaking in voice channels as well. Okay, so to start this off, we're going to create our bot.command. And seeing as we've got a custom help command now, which needs us to give a description, we're going to, well, it doesn't need us, but benefits from us giving it a description. We're going to give it a description, mutes the specified user. Okay, now we create our function async def mute. We're going to want to pass in context member, which will be a discord.member. Star, because we're going to want to also pass in a reason, and reason can be multiple lines. And we'll set the reason defaultly equal to none. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is actually create a guild variable and set that equal to ctx.guild. This isn't really necessary, but we're going to create it because we're going to be calling guild quite a bit in this command. Okay, so then we're going to do muted role equals discord.utils .get guild.roles name equals muted. And essentially what this will do is it will search through all the roles we have in the Discord guild, and it will be searching for the muted role. If we don't have a muted role, what will happen is it will just return none. So we're going to actually handle the case of us not having a muted role now. So if not muted role, so basically what will happen with this if statement is if there isn't a muted role, so if this returns none, it will run the code we put in here. So we're going to do muted role equals await guild.create underscore role, and we're going to give it the same name as we specified up there, which is muted. Okay, so that will create our role. But creating the role isn't good enough. What we're then going to want to do is loop through every channel in our server. So in guild.channels. And we're going to want to await channel.set underscore permission. And here we can set specific permissions for what we want to happen with the mute. So first thing we need to do is pass in the muted role. So this will say if the person has the muted role, set these permissions for this channel. So the first one we want to do is speak equals false, which will mean that if it's a voice channel, they won't be able to speak in that channel. We're also going to do send underscore messages equals false, which means if it's a text channel, capital F we need there, which basically means if it's a text channel, they won't be able to send any text messages into the channel. You could also do read underscore message underscore history equals false, and what that will do is it will make it so the user can't read any of the previous messages in the channel. Well, they just can't read messages in the channel. And also we're going to do read underscore messages equals false. However, for my case, I actually do want them to be able to read messages, so we'll set that to true. Or you could just remove that whole line, but I'm going to keep it there in case I want to change it in the future. Okay, so essentially what that's doing is actually muting the person. That's what that for loop is doing. So we can now come out of the for loop and also make sure we're outside of the if statement as well. And do await member dot add underscore roles. And we're going to want to add the muted role, and we're going to specify the reason we added it. So reason equals reason, which would defaultly be none. Okay, so we're also going to want to send a message to the channel, ctx.send, make that an f string, and we're going to say muted not user, member dot mention for reason. And we're also going to specifically send a message to the member who was muted. So we'll do f string, you were muted in the server guild dot name for reason. Okay, so now that is essentially it for the mute command. So actually, before we run it, we want to add the commands dot has underscore permissions manage underscore messages equals true. Okay, so now we have our mute command. Let's run the bot. Bot is ready. I'm just going to quickly prove to you that there isn't a muted role already. As you can see, no muted role in that list. And if we go exclamation mark, not dollar even, exclamation mark mute at, remember we have to use an at because we're using a Discord member object, and we give it the reason test mute. Okay, and as you can see, we got this message back saying the account has been muted. Let's see if the role's been created. As you can see, it has. And now let's go on to this account. And as you can see, we can't type in a channel. So yeah, we've also got the you are muted in Hypes test server for test mute message. These were just some other tests I did prior to recording. So yeah, the command works. And if we then go back to this, we have a problem because now the only way to really unmute that person is to delete the role, which isn't ideal. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an unmute command, which is relatively simple to do. All we need to do is come down here, create another command, give it the description it needs. Unmute a specified user. We're also going to make sure they have the manage messages permission again. dot has permissions manage underscore messages equals true, and async def unmute person context and member discord dot member. Okay, that's all we need to pass in. So then we go. First thing we need to do is grab the muted role. So all we do is we copy this command up here. Then we need to remove the role. Oh, actually, because we're only using it once here. We haven't created the guild variable, so we need to actually pass in context there. So then once you've done that, we want to await member dot remove roles and just pass in muted role. And then we'll say await ctx dot send unmuted member dot mention. And we'll also again send them a message. Oh, spelled member wrong there. We'll also send them a message. You were unmuted into the name. Okay, so that's our simple unmute command. So if we run the bot again, as you can see, he's still muted. Okay, so now the bots should be up. Let's do unmute. And actually, let me just quickly show you that he has the muted role currently. So let's unmute him. Remember, we have to tag him again. Okay, so now we can see that he's been unmuted. And if we come onto Edge, we can see we can now send messages again. Ooh, we didn't receive a message from the bot. Why is that then? Okay, so the reason we're getting that error is we need to change add CTX here because we haven't defined guild. So let's run again and exclamation mark mute at Hype's test account. Oh, I just tried calling it. Of course that's not going to work, yeah. Because that account doesn't have the right permission. So if we mute him, you can see he's got muted here. And he did get the mute message. And okay, let's go back and unmute him now. Spelled it wrong there. Unmute at Hypes. Sometimes it gets this error where I can't find it. There we go. Hypes test account. Okay, and we can see it's unmuted, and we did get the message this time. Okay, so that was how you make a simple mute and unmute command. We might revisit this sometime in a later episode, where we actually mute someone for a specified amount of time and then they get unmuted, but that'll be for a future episode if we do it. In the next episode, what we are going to look at is background tasks. So, for example, if you want to run something in the background, like changing the bot's presence every 10 minutes or something, and we'll have a look at how to do that. And obviously the background task can be used for a wide variety of things, such as getting YouTube videos from the YouTube API every so often and something like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next episode. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And goodbye.